Some people fish with their dads. For us, more often we made journal entries. My dad is a controller in manufacturing and has been those the past 30 plus years. And I followed him in even as a teenager, learning about shipping and receiving, accounts payable, cost to kind, inventory databases, and so much more. And somewhere in there, I was also watching the nightly business report on PBS while other people my age, I was 8, were watching something else entirely. When I went deep into financial market literature, trying to understand it as an early teen, I figured out very quickly that most magazines that talk about the markets didn't really look at financial statements. They were really talking about their opinions dressed up as insight. So I learned very quickly to trust statements, which were most of the time actually data, and to understand that, because what I learned was that to get the numbers right, you have to understand the true overall operation. And I carried that approach into school, earning an accounting degree with a psychology minor by 2010, and then an MBA as a graduate assistant in 2012. And then I found a listing about a car dealership in Asheville, and I applied thinking it would be really cool to learn from someone that was great. I got hired as their assistant controller. I learned from someone who had done it nearly 30 years. I helped close the books, whether it's monthly or yearly, with an accounting team of 12 people. I learned the different industry from the financial layer up, also learning how that interacted with variable and fixed ops, warranty rates, labor per hour, but especially profit per vehicle from every angle. And shortly after I started, though, I got to learn a lot about data feeds and a lot of the IT work. And I learned the data feeds so well, I was able to drive a website platform migration that cut inventory update times from a couple of days down to a couple hours. 400% better ain't bad. Around 2015, some consultants came in and gave us some ideas about used car inventory disposal. But when we did some deeper operational analysis, it told a different story, at least for our store. So I identified the root cause and corrected the strategy, recovered a significant amount of gross profit that would have otherwise been left on the table. The metric was just measuring a symptom. We fixed the disease. And also in there, I helped launch a farm to table grits brand. I learned about Shopify, e-commerce backends, sales and use tax compliance. Not all Nexus systems are built right, and it's different in practically every city and county, and it depends on what is sold to whom and where. Who knew? I helped write a brand story, determine price positioning, and Southern Living magazine even made a video about it in 2017. How many accountants do you know can say they helped launch a foodie brand? Then in 2017, the ownership changed, and by September, so did my role. I'm going to cover that in part two. But if your organization is dealing with operational gaps nobody can quite name, let's talk about it and see how we can talk about them and understand them differently.